Well, hello everyone, and welcome to East-West Healing Space, where we do I Ching readings, usually every Monday and Friday, but sometimes life makes that a little impossible. And I do an occasional oracle card reading, and coming soon to a theater near you, I'm going to start sharing some of my artwork because art is another form of healing. You know, when times get crazy, go make art, I say. Find yourself a little corner anywhere, write in a journal, doodle on a napkin. I used to have a friend who was an amazing doodler. Anytime he was on the phone, he would doodle and he would make the most incredible drawings. I was shocked by how good they were. So go make art. I will share some of what I've been doing. But today is Monday. It is Cinco de Mayo, and we are going to do our Cinco de Mayo I Ching reading because it goes so well together. All right, let's see what the I Ching will tell us for today. And if you like this channel, please hit that like button and that subscribe button so you'll get notifications whenever I post a new video. At least that's the theory. Some people tell me they're not getting any notifications. I don't know why, and I have no control over that. But it would help me. Maybe if you hit that subscribe button, more people would get the notifications. Who knows? I know nothing about the mysteries of the algorithms of YouTube. That's outside my wheelhouse. Okay, so what is the message for Cinco de Mayo of 2025? Let's see. Bada bing, bada boom. We have a head. We have a head. We have a tail. So two heads and a tail. That winds up being a yin line. It's an 8. An 8 is a yin line. It's a broken line. The yin lines are the broken lines. So here we go. We start with a broken line. What does Mama Jing have to tell us for Monday's Cinco de Mayo? Cinco de Mayo. We have a head. We have a tail. We have a head. Okay, she's repeating herself. Another 8. Very sloppy. A sloppy hexagram. But I haven't had all my coffee yet, so. Or coffee, if you're from the East Coast. I love that, coffee. I do, I really do, I'm not kidding. Let's see. A tail. A tail. And a head. Aha! That is a yang line. A little roof over the house. Okay. The lower trigram. Okay. What do we need to know? What is the message? A head. A tail. A tail. Okay. Another yang line. This is interesting. Good. Cinco de Mayo. And we're getting a little drizzle here in Southern California, which is wonderful because we need all the rain we can get. Means I don't have to water my garden. A head. A head. A tail. Okay. That is another yin line. Another 8. Una más. One more. What is our message for today for Mama Jane, from Mama Jane? Come on. A tail, a tail, and a tail. Okay, so we're going to have a changing line. A young line, but it changes to a yin line. So we have this, this, and this as the upper trigram, and it's kind of flipped upside down. So we have a yang line and two yin lines above it, and down here we have a yang line and two yin lines below it. Okay, so let's see, what do we have here? What do we have here? Like I've said, I do not memorize these things. My brain already has a lot in it. Unless it's necessary for life, I'm not going to memorize it. Okay. So the upper trigram is Chen and the lower trigram is Ken. So Ken to Chen is 62. Is that correct? Gotta make sure. Oh no. No, see, that's wrong. That's the second one. That's the second one, I believe. Ken and Chen. Yeah, that's the second one. The first one we have Ken on the bottom, but we have a yin line between two yang lines, and that would be Li. So we go from Ken to Li, and we get 56. Yes. So we start with 56, and we end up with 60, 56 to 62. Okay, let's see what Mama Jane has to say. 56. 50, 55. Interesting. The Wanderer. We have keeping still. The mountain is below and the clinging fire is above. Fire, of course, the direction is upward. And the two trigrams don't stay together because the mountain is still. It's not going anywhere. But the fire, boom, it's moving upward. Strange lands and separations. Separation are the wanderer's lot. Well, I do like to travel, so I don't consider that necessarily bad, but I like coming home afterwards. Okay, the judgment. The wanderer, success through smallness. Perseverance brings good fortune to the wanderer. Okay, I'm getting some ideas about this. And when I said I like to travel, this I Ching reading is not for me. It's a general reading for anybody. But I'm part of the anybody, so that's why I mentioned it. The image, fire on the mountain. I think they had a song with that. The image of the wanderer. Thus, the superior man is clear-minded and cautious in imposing penalties and protracts no lawsuits. Interesting. All right, and there's only one line that we read, and that would be 9 at the top. means the bird's nest burns up. The wanderer laughs at first, then must needs lament and weep. Through carelessness he loses his cow, misfortune. Oh, okay. It's a loss of one's resting place. This misfortune may overtake the bird if it is heedless and imprudent when building its nest. Okay, we're going to get back to that. Then it turns into a 62. Okay, 60. There's only 64 of these hexagrams. 61. 62. Oh, yes, I like this. Preponderance of the small. The mountain is below and thunder is above. He starts out talking about preponderance of the great. Hang on a second. Okay. As you can see, there are the yin lines on the outer sides of the hexagram, and the strong lines are on the inside. This will give you an indication of what this hexagram is about, and we'll talk about that. The judgment, preponderance of the small, success. Perseverance furthers. Small things may be done, great things should not be done. The flying bird brings the message. It is not well to strive upward. It is well to remain below. Great good fortune. The image. Thunder on the mountain. The image of preponderance of the small. Thus in his conduct, the superior man gives preponderance to reverence. In bereavement, he gives preponderance to grief. In his expenditures, he gives preponderance to thrift. Okay, this is an interesting reading today, so let's talk about this on Cinco de Mayo. Now, I know that I have mentioned the trigrams before, and I don't emphasize them in this reading because that's another world. There's a lot to be said about trigrams. One could write an entire book about trigrams. But in this case, I do want to point out something about the trigrams. In the I Ching, the yang lines in this particular setup here, the yang line is the ruler. The yin lines are the subjects. So in this trigram, there's one ruler and two subjects. In this trigram, there's two rulers and one subject. This is a much more stable condition. In the I Ching, they call this the superior man or woman. This is a less stable condition because two rulers and one subject, that doesn't work so well. When there's one ruler and subjects, then everything lines up. But if you have two rulers, then things become confused. So these two are not going to stay together. This is stable. This is not stable. Li, the flame, goes upward and it moves. The mountain is still. It doesn't move. So they're going to part ways. That's why they talk about the wanderer. The wanderer can stay for a while on the mountain, but then doesn't stay. keeps moving on. Okay? That's one central theme of this hexagram. Another theme of this hexagram, the wanderer, because the wanderer doesn't stay anywhere for any length of time, they talk about this in a number of ways. One is the fire on the mountain. Thus, the superior man is clear-minded and cautious in imposing penalties and protracts no lawsuits. Okay, there's a lot of that in the I Ching. And what this points to and suggests that whatever the right thing, the lawsuit, I mean, if there is a lawsuit, the penalty should not be severe. It's a wanderer's sensibility. So if someone is being sent to prison, it shouldn't be forever. It should be a short term. And things are passing through. And it's this fire on the mountain that gives that image, because the fire will be there as long as there's fuel. And then the fire moves on. And so the wanderer does not impose long-term sentences. It's just a passing through. It's a short duration. So not all of us are involved in criminal situations. This is a good thing. But it does speak to this in the greater arena of society, and points to that as the appropriate way to go. There's also the success through smallness. So in other words, a wanderer is not there to set him or herself up as king or queen. You remain humble. So this hexagram is pointing towards humility and not trying to become a ruler when you're a wanderer. And in some senses, aren't we all wanderers? I used to know a woman who used to say, remember, we're all tourists, which is another way of saying wanderer. Okay, so I'm getting that sense that this points to impermanence. Impermanence. The wanderer is someone who lives with impermanence, is aware of impermanence, and does not linger on any one thing for too long. And so whether it's holding a grudge against someone, or knowing that you're right and clinging to that idea no matter what, because you know you're right and you know they're wrong, that's the sense in our personal lives of what judgment can mean when we're judging others. It should not be forever. You know, we're all wanderers. We're all tourists. And it's folly to cling to any particular belief as though it were written in stone. I mean, if you want to talk about that the sun rises in the east, okay, we're not talking about that. We're talking about your personal beliefs. Not that you don't have them, not that they're bad, but just understand there's always another way to look at anything. So that's the wanderer. Now, let's talk about number 62. Let's go back and find 62. Preponderance of the small. Yes, let's talk about preponderance of the small. This preponderance of the small really is a beautiful sequence to the wanderer, because it says here, The flying bird brings the message. It is not well to strive upward. It is well to remain below. Great good fortune. That says to me the same thing in a sense of the wanderer. When you're a wanderer, you don't try to be a ruler. You're humble. Well, the bird brings the message. It is not well to strive upward. In other words, as a wanderer, again, it turns into this: don't try to, in a sense, be the ruler. Be modest, be humble, is what this is saying. Preponderance of the small. Small things may be done, great things should not be done. Concentrate on the little things. When you concentrate on the little things, the big things take care of themselves, you know. And the image of thunder on the mountain. Thus, in his conduct, the superior man gives preponderance to reverence. Yes. And this bird that says, don't strive upward, it is well to remain below. Upward is more like hubris, and remaining below is more like reverence. Okay? It's a perfect sequence to this. It's saying, concentrate really basically on the things that are yours to deal with, the things that you have some control over, which is not, when you look at it, not a whole lot. You have control over your world, but not pretty much anything else, unless you're a king or a wannabe king. But stick to what is yours to do. Keep your eyes focused on the things that are around you. That's the small, okay? And that's where the good fortune lies. And you don't look for great huge things. You take joy in the smaller things that are around you, the things that are yours. And honestly, that seems to me that is a good message to how to live a happy life, because most of what goes on in this world is not in our control. So therefore, to focus on that is to bring misery to yourself. But to focus on your life, your own personal life, that's where you can be happier. Not that you don't take action where you feel you must, but don't cling to the outcome of your actions. Take action when it is right action, and speak your truth, but mainly focus on your own personal world. I think that's what this is telling us. Okay, so that is today's reading, and I hope this resonated with you. It feels right to me. And I will see you again. Leave a comment. Comments are always appreciated. Any kind of a comment. Leave a comment, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, share this with anybody you know who you might think might be interested, who you think might need to hear this. That is always extremely helpful, and that will help the channel to grow. Okay, I will see you next time. Meanwhile, focus on what you can do. Bye-bye.